Hey everybody, welcome to McEntee Law Group's first Friday. Um, it's first Friday, August 1st. Wow, the summer is going by fast. I'm Ray McEntee. I'm the managing partner of McEntee Law Group, and I'll be doing the first Friday today. We have a lot of news. Unfortunately, most of it is not great with the current administration, but just going to run through as much as I can. And we have a couple of questions that I can answer as well that have been submitted in advance. Okay. The first thing is that USCA announced that it reached its fiscal cap for the 2026 H1B. So what that means essentially is there won't be any subsequent lottery draws this year. USCS has said that they've gotten enough petitions to fill the cap. So previous years they had done subsequent lotteries, but they won't be doing it this year. On that note, Ryan, one of our senior attorneys, he will be doing a webinar on Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. Central Time. And basically that will be discussing what are your other options if you weren't selected in the H1B cap. So again, that's Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. Central with Ryan. That should be very helpful. So reach out to us if you want to watch that webinar, be a part of it. Great. Okay, another H1B update with the Trump administration is that they are proposing to end the visa lottery system. So they want to do away with the random lottery selection, and what they want to do now is they want to base it on like an order of priority, and that will be based on wages, who is getting paid the highest wage. So that will be a significant change. There's with a H1B, there's 4 different wage levels. There's wage level 1 up through level 4. Level 1 being newer entry level positions, and then level 4 being to more like senior positions within a organization. This will probably negatively impact international students who are coming out of college and applying for H1Bs. They'll probably be the ones impacted the most by this. I think DHS had said under its proposed system, USA wouldn't have selected anybody at level 1 wage, and only 20% of individuals at level 2. So we'll have to see what happens there, but that could be a significant change to the H1B system. Okay, what else? Tom Homan, the head of Tom Homan, has announced that with the big beautiful bill and the $160 billion being allocated to ICE over the next 4 years, that they plan to flood the zone with additional ICE officers, and they're going to primarily focus on democratic cities such as Los Angeles, Boston, and Chicago. What else do we have? Another announcement, what we've seen is that the visa issuance for international students, those numbers are down. There's been less visas being issued for international students for May of this year. This could be a sign of just less international students coming to the US, or it might not fully reflect what's going on there. But I guess we'll have to wait until September when students are enrolled to see the impact there. But that doesn't forebode well for colleges and for the US as a whole. If they see a significant decrease in international students applying for visas and ultimately coming to the US, there'll be a brain drain there. Okay. We've also seen a lot of immigration judges being fired. They would be some of the more less kind of some of the more fairer judges are being fired, immigration judges, and it remains to be seen who'll be replaced in their place. Probably judges that are very much in line with Trump, I would imagine. But yeah, that's a troubling update. So there's been 17 immigration judges across the country who have been fired by Trump's administration, and they, as I said, that does include Chicago. Yeah, and they're said to have been without cause and against public interest. So we'll have to see how that develops further, but obviously it's not good. Another thing which we had heard under the previous Trump administration is that they are a priority for them is denaturalization of naturalized US citizens. They said that they want to prioritize this and strip citizenship off certain individuals. So yeah, basically what they said, who are they going to target? Any citizen Department of Justice determines to be sufficiently important to pursue, where individuals which the Department of Justice deems to be a potential danger to national security. That's quite worrying as to what they can classify as a potential danger. We've seen what they've done recently. Citizens who further or furthered the unlawful enterprise of criminal gangs, citizens who engage in various forms of financial fraud against the US or against corporations. Citizens who required naturalization through government corruption, citizens referred to connection with pending criminal charges. It's also quite worrying if it's just a pending criminal charge, if you haven't actually been found guilty. It is quite a complicated process to strip people of their US citizenship. There's the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment of the Constitution says that your citizenship can't be taken away without due process. So we'll have to kind of see about that, but just to put on some, just people be aware of it, that is now in the crosshairs of the Trump administration, denaturalization. Okay, another thing that was recently announced was a new visa integrity fee that applies to all visas, non-immigrant visas. So for tourists, visitors, business, they're saying that it's a $250 fee, additional fee. It isn't replacing any fees. It's just an additional $250, and it could potentially be reimbursable. And they say that it will be paid at the time the visa is issued. So once you get your visa stamp, you need to then pay this fee in order to probably before you can get your passport and visa stamp back. Like a lot of things with this administration, there hasn't been a lot of guidance. It's very unclear as to when this will come in, how it'll apply, what potentially who will be reimbursed by this. But it's just something to keep in mind, that it's potentially going to be a significant increase in costs for families coming here for a holiday, and for individuals who have already paid pretty hefty filing fees for non-immigrant visas to have to then pay an additional $250 on top of that. But more to come on that. I would in the coming weeks and months we'll get more clarity as to kind of when it'll start and who it'll apply, and what potential reimbursements could be. And then there's been additional increase in fees as well in relation to asylum and so forth like that, and parole. In TPS applications as well, they're going to be increased fees. That was brought in by introduced by the big beautiful bill. I think that's kind of a lot of the news I had to discuss. I'm going to look at some of our. Hi James. I'm gonna go through some of the questions we have. One of the questions was, is there any way of renewing, extending the F1 visa while in the US to allow short-term travel to Ireland? I believe you can extend your F1 from the US. You can file an I-539. You can change your status to F1 as well. And there's the ability to use premium process in certain instances. you need to kind of remain in the US while that application is pending. If you were to leave while the extension was pending, that could potentially cause issues. And, you know, if you did want to return to Ireland, you would almost certainly have to get a new visa stamp at the consulate or embassy in order to allow you to return back to the US in F1 status. But, you know, if you want more information, more specific information on that, please reach out to our firm. We'd be happy to advise further. Okay, another one is an Irish citizenship question, Irish citizenship by descent question. So our firm, as well as we're primarily inbound US immigration, we also do limited Irish immigration as well. So one of the questions here is, I can't find my grandfather's birth certificate. Is there another way to prove my Irish citizenship by descent? Well, I mean, if it is based off your Irish-born grandfather here, his birth certificate is like one of the most important documents you're going to need. You know, when you say you can't find it, have you like exhausted all resources? You know, you can, one of the good things about Ireland is that all birth, marriage and death certificates are all public record. Anybody can request it for any purpose. You don't even have to give a reason. If your grandfather was born after 1864 and his birth was registered, you should be able to request it through the Health Service Executive. They have an online service where you can request a birth certificate. You're obviously going to need to know his information. You're going to need to know basic info: his name, his date of birth, his place of birth, and his parents' name, his mother's maiden name. But if you have all of that information, if you just, you know, go to Health Service Executive, hse.ie, you should be able to order his birth certificate online with that information. You should get it in a few weeks. It's about $50 or $60 to get a birth certificate. Another question. I have a green card, but I'm traveling outside the US in September. Will they check my social media on my phone? It's a good question. And we have a lot of people asking us that: non-immigrant visa holders, green card holders, US citizens. We have actually written a couple of blogs on our website that kind of discuss this in detail. So if you want to go to our website, look at our blogs, there should be some good guidance there for advice for people, international travel for citizens and permanent residents and visa holders. So yeah, just to recap again, we're going to be doing, Ryan from our firm is going to be doing a webinar on Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. Central, and he's going to be discussing what other options you may have. If you weren't selected in the H-1B lottery, what other options you may have. He's going to talk about other non-immigrant visa options. So please reach out to us if you want more information about that. But it's Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. Central Time. Okay, well, I hope everybody has a nice weekend, and I hope this was helpful today. I know hasn't been the most happy news that we've been sharing, but unfortunately, this is just kind of where we find ourselves right now. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.